What's going on, guys? It is the Poke King, and we're back with another banger. I'm excited to be showcasing Ancient Box once again on the channel. If you guys don't know, this is one of my favorite decks to have released from Scarlet and Violet from the entire set. And I gotta say, Aiden Koos, and this is his deck list, Aiden Koos got top 16 at the Milwaukee Regional, and I'm very impressed by this deck. I think what's also amazing is that because Christian Labella, and if you guys saw from the last video, we did his deck profile of Raging Bolt. Since Raging Bolt won the tournament, you're going to start seeing a lot more Raging Bolt at the regionals, at your locals, at cups, challenges. So why not take advantage and play something that absolutely destroys Raging Bolt? So we're going to take a look at this Ancient Box deck list. Let's get into it. Starting off, we have the MVP. Of course, this makes Ancient Box Ancient Box. If you guys don't know what this card is, this is Baby Roaring Moon. Now, it is an ancient Pokemon, 140 HP. Now, we're never really using Speedwing. I don't think it ever really comes up. Maybe in the beginning of the game if somehow you're able to turbo crazy. But we're going to be using Vengeance Fletching. Now, for 2 Dark Energies, it does 70 damage plus 10 for each ancient card in your discard pile. So we're going to be turboing through like the Professor Sada's Vitalities, the Explorer's Guidance, even things like Earthen Vessels or the Booster Capsule, the Ancient Booster Capsule. So Roaring Moon is a beautiful 1 prizer that can then take big knockouts on 2 prizers. So that's why it destroys Raging Bolt. So I think this deck, once again, is just going to see a lot more play. Now, you guys are going to be a little mad at me, but we do have 4 Dunsparce. Now, these aren't the right ones to play. You do want to be playing the ones from Paldea Evolve, and because of the first attack, it's not trading places. I think it's like find a friend or refer a friend or something like that, and it basically just searches out for a basic Pokemon. So you want to use that. Don't use this Dunsparce, and once again, I have it on the screen, so you'll be able to take a look at that. One of the things we're also trying with the new deck profiles is I'm just going to kind of keep the cards down like this, and then if we ever have to explain anything, we can just go into our slim mode. So we're playing for the Dunsparce, and once again, you can have somebody new to Pokemon, so we'll quickly go over the Dunsparce. When you evolve it from Dunsparce, obviously becomes the Dunsparce, but it has runaway draw. So once during your turn, you may draw 3 cards. If you drew any cards in this way, you shuffle this Pokemon and all attach cards into your deck. So this is a great way, once again, to get whether it be like energies in the deck late game, if you have to do a cool Earthen Vessel play, or for example, if you just need to draw cards. So we want to use the Dunsparce to draw cards and to get the cards that we need. Now, of course, with something like Badoo being a thing, obviously, Badoo doesn't really affect things like Fan Rotom when you're going first, because of course you can still play your items until you get Badoo lock, but Fan Rotom becomes another solid attacker for the deck. Assault Landing doing 70 damage as long as there's a stadium in play for 1 energy. Busted just smokes Badoo, but Fan Call allows us to search out the Dunsparces. So pretty cool, pretty important. And once again, it just allows you to have another attacker. We do play the baby Koraidon because the Unrelenting Onslaught, once again, with things like, Joltik Box being a thing, we can take easy knockouts on things like, Iron Hands, Miraidon, EXs. So Koraidon is super valuable within that form, within, once again, this deck. And what's awesome is that, this deck absolutely smokes Joltik Box. It truly does. We're playing 1 Iron Bundle. Once again, we're playing only like 2 bosses ordered, no counter catchers, which once again, Ancient Box used to play, but because of things like the item locks, we just want Iron Bundle to be able to move things out of the active that we don't want to deal with, or if we also get stuck, once again, go up anything like TLMS Ogre Ponds, which once again, we don't really have any issues there, or even things like, for example, like for Fergarath, or if you run into something like Terapagos with its Crown Opal, we can use Roaring Moon EX to use the best attack, Frenzy Gouging. We do play 2 E-switches, so we can get this on, once again, the first turn of when we're going and getting ready to attack. So Roaring Moon EX, absolutely busted. So that is all the Pokemon that Aiden played. Aiden ended up playing for Professor Sada's Vitality. Of course, you have to play this card because it's absolutely busted. Being able to attach, once again, to up to 2 ancient Pokemon and energy from the discard pile and draw 3, it's absolutely busted. And once again, it's an ancient card, so it counts towards the ancient count for Vengeance Fletching. We're playing 4 Explorer's Guidance. Once again, the format has slowed down, so a card like Explorer's Guidance actually becomes a little bit better because it's slowed down. So, you know, we're not really trying to go into Sadas too much to where, you know, previous formats, you know, Ancient Box had to go really fast because it needed to keep up with the big attackers. We also play 2 bosses orders. You know, once again, we want to boss around the smaller EXs and stuff like that to get the easy knockouts. So we absolutely want to take advantage of the bosses orders. We have 4 Ultra Balls, just keeping it simple. Once again, Ultra Ball gets cards in the discard pile, so we can use it to get energies in the discard pile or ancient cards. Now, one of the cool things that he was playing, which I thought was Nest Balls when I built this deck and put it together, I thought it was Nest Balls, but it wasn't. We're playing 4 Great Ball. Once again, grabbing Pokemon top 7, you grab any Pokemon you find there, so it becomes very versatile because we are playing a bigger amount of Pokemon. So I don't mind the Great Ball. I'm actually can't wait to test out this deck and get some more plays and gameplay in. We're playing 4 Earthen Vessel. Once again, it counts towards the ancient count, and chaining Earthen Vessels is what allows you pretty much, once again, to win games with Ancient Box. If you don't see usually your Earthen Vessels, it becomes harder, especially once you get Badulok. So Earthen Vessel is just really, really good right now. Now, for consistency to get to the Fan Rotom, we're going to be playing 3 Buddy-Buddy Poffin. Now, a lot of people may say, well, you know, Fan Rotom only searches out the Dunsparces, and that's fine, but at the end of the day, we just want to turbo through the deck, and Buddy-Buddy Poffin allows us to do it. Once again, for 1 card, it takes 2 cards out of the deck, so, you know, once again, at the end of the day, we just want to be top decking Sadas, bosses, and stuff like that. 2 energy switches, once again, allows us to attack with Roaring Moon a little bit quick, Roaring Moon EX a little bit quicker, so the 2 energy switches are really good in this deck. We play 1 Night Stretcher, once again, to get back whether it be that Roaring Moon we need or even like that Dark Energy. 1 Super Rod, once again, because of how much you're going to turbo through the deck, and especially if you're going up against other 1-prizers, you're going to go through your baby Roaring Moons pretty quick in the Koraidon, so Super Rod allows you to, once again, cycle them back through the deck. Towards the ancient count, we then have the 4 ancient booster energy capsules, super important. Once again, also makes it harder for Pokemon to take for your opponent to take knockouts against your ancient Pokemon, and then also helps you protect a little bit when it comes to, like, even for example, anybody playing the ancient package. Neutralization Zone, if you play this card correct, you can pretty much just outright win games. You know, things against Charizard EX, even things like Gholdengo, you can absolutely win. If you don't know what this card does, because you don't see a lot of people playing it, is that you prevent all damage done to Pokemon that don't have a rule box, both yours and your opponent's Pokemon, by attacks from the opponent's Pokemon EX and Pokemon V. Of course, Vs are no longer in the game, well, for standard. So pretty much protects you from any Pokemon EX that has a rule box. So a lot of Pokemon right now, even things like Tailmass Ogerpon have a rule box, Charizard EX, Gholdengo. So if you play this right, and especially against Gholdengo, some of Gholdengos aren't even playing, you know, they're playing like their 2 Artazon. So if you can go through, you know, the different stadiums or other stadiums through different decks, Neutralization Zone can absolutely win you games. So that's pretty awesome. And then what's cool is if you're playing a Gholdengo that's playing like Lavencia, if you get through their 2 Lavencias with Artazon, you drop a Neutralization Zone, you pretty much win the game, and you already have a good matchup against that deck. So we're going to play 3 Artazon. I know it's kind of getting into a little bit of a rant, but 3 Artazon helps us find the baby Pokemon that we need to get, all the basics. And then Aiden finished it off with just 6 Dark Energy, which is one of the lower counts you've seen from any Ancient Box deck. So that was Aiden Koos's top 16 Ancient Box deck, and honestly, it's a great deck list. Guys, let me know in the comment section down below some things you think that he should have tweaked. Let me know if you think Neutralization Zone should be the A spec. I know a lot of the Ancient Box decks in the past played things like Secret Box, so let me know in that comment section down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, become part of the Poke Kingdom. It's been your king. Peace.